Hey there, everybody, and welcome to the Illuminary Library. I'm Ben, and I've got Alicia here with me for our second ever episode. So excited to be back with y'all. This week we've got a bunch of stuff touching on the release issues that we had with Set 1 now that we're well into and past the release, how that went. Our own local events and tournaments, and some rules documents that we got out for those tournaments are supposed to be run. And a whole bunch of new cards. I think it's somewhere like just shy of 20 different cards we're going to be going over on this.
So much.
So I am very excited for all this.
Yeah,
that was.
We woke up this morning.
Like we had planned to record long before the cards came out, and then they're like, "Hey, you're recording this morning? Here's a bunch."
Which is perfect because normally it's the opposite where you've already recorded and
then it happens.
And you have to redo. So we got lucky today. So thanks, Ravensburger. Yep. But yeah, so Disney Parks release was supposed to happen on August 18th.
Mm-hmm.
So just, almost a month ago, basically.
That was the same date that local stores were supposed to get them, like game shops and stuff, not big box stores.
Yeah. Correct. And kind of the day kind of came and went, and everyone was watching socials. I know there were people who visited Disney Springs and downtown Disney out in California, and there was nothing. There were no social posts. There was no product to be found. It wasn't until I think like later that day or maybe a couple of days later that we got an announcement that they would be available on August 28th, which is 10 days later. And they would only be available at World of Disney in Disney Springs. And then I believe it was Pin Traders or somewhere around
Epcot,
downtown Disney Resort. Yeah.
Sorry, not Epcot. Yep. I wish it was Epcot.
Yeah, Epcot would be great.
I kept seeing Pin Traders in the news, and I kept thinking of the old Pin Trader stand right by Fountain of Nations. And, no, my bad.
Oh,
Rest in peace.
Heartbreaking. Thanks for that, Ben.
Sorry.
Fountain of Nations. But yeah, downtown Disney, and they were only selling gift sets and starter decks. I know starter decks went very, very quickly in both parks, and then gift sets, I believe, sold out just later that day, or if not the day after. And product hasn't been restocked since, which is really a shame. I'm in obviously a ton of Facebook groups and Discord groups just for Disney parks as a whole, not even Lorcana. And I've seen so many messages of so many different people asking, where can they get these in the parks they're visiting? They want to get product. They want to be able to play there. And it's really sad to say, they haven't restocked. We don't know if they'll restock. And there is nowhere in Disney parks to get them. And I felt like when they initially announced this, that it was going to be a really big deal that the parks were going to have them. And it's been kind of a letdown. I mean, this whole release schedule has been a letdown.
Yes.
From Gen Con to Disney parks to, local game stores.
Not one thing's gone right, and the whole thing has it.
It really hasn't. It's kind of like astounding as to like how bad this has been. Because every time we had a release date, I'm like, this one's gonna be better. And then it's just as bad as Gen Con and Sensia. What do you think, Ben?
I will give them, there was one release that worked well, and that was the September 8th drop at GameStops. Because I actually went to local GameStop for this, and I had a couple friends of mine that went to different local GameStops as well. And it was actually very well managed. There were product limits, there were lines, the lines were respected. GameStop employees know how to handle people who are lining up for things. Like this is a somewhat regular occurrence for them, so they're just like, you know what you're doing, I know what we're doing, just get in a line, hang out here. The mall people know if they see people outside the GameStop at 9 in an orderly line, it's fine, don't worry about it. And so it was perfectly fine. I got there like 30 minutes before the store opened. I was third in line. Somebody else got there an hour early for a different store, and they were the only one there until like 2 minutes before the store opened. It was chill, and they were selling at MSRP. It's not like they were selling at a markup or anything like that.
Wow.
So it was terrific. Like I went in there, I got it, essentially everything I could get other than starter decks because I had all of them at this point. Thank you, Gen Con. But I went in there, grabbed like I think it was 8 packs per person was the limit, which is also a really generous limit.
Yeah.
I heard some stores were doing 2 per person if they had like bigger lines, but mine was pretty chill.
Yeah.
Like a gift box, a couple other things here and there, and like everything was
Wow.
calm. It was fine. I had no problems. Everything was advertised as yes, we will have it on September 8th. They had it on September 8th. They sold it at MSRP, and there was not a mob.
Yeah, I mean that's
If
perfect.
everybody else had
That's
handled it like this, it would be a non-story.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I visited several at say game stores around me, and either the recurring story is they don't have product,
Hmm.
or the product that they do have they're saving for events that they're running for Lorcana to give people incentive to come,
Yeah.
or they have product and they're selling it way above MSRP. I
Yes.
went to one store and they were selling packs for $12, which was insane.
Hmm.
That's like so well above MSRP. You just kind of have to laugh yourself out of the store. And of
Yeah.
course, they had a bunch of product, but no one's gonna buy it at that price. It's not. That's
Yeah.
insane.
If I remember right, my local store
Yeah.
was selling troves for $99.99,
Oh,
which that's what are you doing? No.
yeah, yeah. And
And
the sad thing
I
is,
have fun bucks at this store because I
right?
regularly judge for them, and they, as part of the compensation I get store credit. So I had like just funny money to blow, and I'm like, that's not even worth it, man. I'm not
No,
using my fake
you
money on
can't
this.
support it. Yeah, you
No.
can't. Because then you don't want to like promote it, happening. Like you
Mm-hmm.
want to dissuade them from doing this.
Yes.
Um,
If you feed the
yeah,
dog when it begs at the table, it's gonna keep begging at the table. It's like you can't do it.
exactly. I've also been to quite a few Targets. Haven't really found anything. We
Same.
did go to one, and they did have some booster packs, which we ended up getting.
Ooh,
Yeah, so
nice.
that was exciting. Yeah, but I mean, like, you look in the aisles, and it's just I've never seen so many people in like the card department of like Targets before, and
Mm-hmm.
like you know what they're looking for, and you just
Yep.
have to walk away like with everyone else just like, oh, they don't have anything. It just, I know that there was going to be a shortage. I think we kind of saw that coming just because it is the first set, and that is typically what happens. I didn't expect it to be this bad. So between
Yeah.
the botched releases and the card shortage, it really feels like no one's really able to play, which is really sad.
Yeah. It's an absolute pain to try and find cards for this.
Yeah.
I will say buying singles online is okay. TCG
Oh, from
Player is a pretty
TCG.
good resource for this. They're somewhat reputable. I mean, it's kind of an eBay-like marketplace. They're owned by eBay,
Yeah.
where you're buying from sellers, but they do a good job of like managing that system and making sure that they take care of folks who have problems. I've
Hmm.
personally never had any issues buying cards there. I'm also a seller on there. I've had issues with people maybe 1 in 100 times.
Right.
It's really a good place for it. Not sponsored, but I'd love to be. But, but also the card
Hit us
prices
up.
for yes, please. The card prices on there are reasonable, as long as you're not
Yeah.
buying the enchanted stuff. Like
Well,
that's kind of insane.
yeah. Don't buy it enchanted. I think the Elsa was still going for like what, $1,000 or something. No,
It
don't buy it. Don't
it,
do
it
it.
was it was $720 when I opened mine earlier this week.
Oh my gosh. That's
that was
insanity.
that was the sweetest, luckiest pull I've ever had. I've never had
Yeah,
that
I
much luck.
mean, instantly into a sleeve
Yep.
and like lock that sucker away.
The thing that kills me is that this was the booster pack that came with the starter deck that I got for helping doing Learn to Play at Gen Con. So I was just like,
Wow.
all right, this is
They
best
sprinkled
compensation I've ever gotten, right there, hands down. That's it.
some pixie dust got sprinkled into that
Yes.
one from them. Wow. That's
I have no
incredible.
reason to believe that there was any sort of pattern with this. I think I just got very lucky. I know that they
You
can show
got
up in
very
starter
lucky.
decks, but
Yes.
the fact that it was that specific one was just okay, sure.
Yeah. I mean, that's the holy grail right there.
Yeah.
So I mean, congratulations, and it's a good card, so you got that going for you too.
Yeah, like that. I was very surprised. I knew that Elsa was going to cost a lot before we even knew really what it did or how it played into the game, just because
Right.
the name recognition. I'm sure that that's going to drive a price on this, especially when it's a
Yeah.
fancy art version. But then you go and add on the fact that it's really a good card.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Let's make fancy art versions of good cards. I like this.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing too, right? Like, not all of the enchanteds are of like, like what you would say like a top tier card. So the
Mhm.
fact that you got one is pretty exciting.
Yeah. The only other one that anybody in my group found, I think there was an Aladdin and an Aurora that existed, and
Mm,
it's like that's one of those is kind of playable.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Along with the card issues in the big box stores, and there was also issues with the Ravensburger website. If you wanted to share your experience with that,
Yeah, I had forgotten about this. So
yeah,
the Ravensburger site, um, they originally this was the virtual queuing stuff, right?
yeah,
Yeah. So this was uh, late one night. They started putting people in a virtual queue for the Ravensburger site, kind of unannounced, with the page saying this line will open at Wednesday at 10 a.m. And I'm super familiar with this kind of concept from doing this with conventions and things like that, because they usually do this for like the hotel lotteries for conventions. And
hmm
then so everybody who's in line at 10 a.m., we shuffle everybody up and deal you out numbers randomly, and then number one goes through, and two goes through, three goes through, so that it's kind of fair. So everybody who's there before it starts gets a shot at being first in line, and everybody who shows up late has to wait in line.
which makes sense.
When a website can only handle so many people per second, like it's a decent way to make this fair. So, but then Wednesday morning rolls around, and they had cut off the line. They turned it back off and just opened up the website to anybody. But then they turned the line back on. But then they turned the line on, but only in a way where it was like first come first serve. And if you got to the front of the line before 10, they hadn't restocked the product yet. So you had to go get back in line so you could go around again and wait and see if the product's in
Oh,
stock the next time round. And it was an absolute mess. It's like,
no,
again, like
it's
we were
not
saying earlier, they
good.
cannot get a win when it comes to
They
releases.
can't. No. Which is troubling since you're the company that's making it. Out of
Yeah,
like, I don't know how many releases they had, like probably six. You gotta get one right.
yeah.
And there hasn't been one yet.
I managed to get through this with a booster box and a gift set in my cart, and I
Okay.
checked out, and it gave me an error during checkout, but my credit card showed the transaction as pending
Mm,
and then confirmed, and it stayed like that for a week, but I never had an order number or an order confirmation email,
oh no.
and then after a week it refunded off my credit card,
I see.
so I didn't get anything.
They had us in the first half, is what you're telling me.
Yes,
And
yeah,
then
they had me good in the first half. Like
Oh,
it,
that's so
it was like, all right, I got it, maybe, and then I saw it on the card. I'm like, all right, we got it, we're good. Maybe we're not
yeah.
good. Maybe we're not good. Are we good? We're not good.
Ugh. So if you
How?
are looking for cards, Shop Disney I think has been restocking every now and then.
Yeah,
Um, so
I think there's
that's
an
a
email you can
place to
sign up
look.
for when they get restocked as well.
Yeah. So that game, or your local game store, I mean, if you haven't checked all of them at this point, and
Yeah,
then as we were saying, GameStop is a pretty good resource.
yeah.
Other than that, just hunt your targets and, do what you can.
A
Um,
a weird one that had packs when I checked, but they weren't at MSRP was FYE, for your entertainment.
really? Wait, are they still around? I had
Yeah,
no
they're still around.
clue.
There's a
I
tiny
thought they
one in
went
my mall.
under.
They're like three doors down from the
Oh.
GameStop for me. It's great.
Oh
So,
my gosh, I
I,
thought they were gone.
yeah. I went in there on GameStop morning after going to GameStop, and they had like 3 packs left, and they were $12 each.
That is
And it's like
hilarious.
that's a choice, guys.
That is a
No,
choice.
I'm good.
Yeah, not too much money for me
Yeah,
personally, but I understand that people are also, if you haven't gotten product and you've been waiting since the start of August at this point, I understand that desperate times at this point.
yeah.
The only thing we can hope for is also the reprints for Chapter 1, which I believe is
Q1 of next
sometime
year.
Q1 of next year. Yeah, no specific date,
Hmm.
but quarter 1. So
Yeah.
I guess just keep your eyes peeled for that, and we'll hope that Chapter 2 has a little bit of a better release. Um, and we'll talk a little bit more about Chapter 2 later since we woke up to a bunch of news today. But we're kind of going through, as news came out throughout the month since we haven't recorded. So the next thing that I think we should probably talk about is the tournament documents that came out. And
Yes,
we
let me
have
touch
like
on
a
that.
resident judge on this
Yeah.
podcast. So I mean, who better to tell us the rules than you?
Yeah, so I am, in addition to doing Lorcana Learn to Play stuff, I'm a level 2 judge for Magic the Gathering. So I know a decent amount about their competitive rules environment and stuff like that too. So this week we got for rules nerds over there, we got our equivalents of the MTR and the IPG. So we have the tournament docs and also the document that tells you how to fix stuff when things go wrong, which
Yes.
both really useful to have. I really wish we had a core rules, please.
I know. Well,
Why
and
do we
that was
still not know how to play
interesting.
the game?
I know when these documents came out, I believe even in like the article or whatever it was released, and they said like an extensive document will be coming soon. I kind of thought that soon meant like later that day or
Mm-hmm.
this week or whatever. Still haven't gotten it, which is a little odd. So we still only have quick start rules.
Yep.
And basically, if you have questions on like how certain cards interact with each other, look at the Lorcana Twitter, or I'm sorry, X thread, because they have been showing some weird interactions about like how cards work. There was like an example with bodyguard and like evasive and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty good to know. So I mean, check there because it seems to be that they're doing some teaching on there. But
Yeah.
as far as a big document goes, we haven't gotten it yet.
The closest we've got to anything is there's a fan website called the Mushu Report
Yeah.
that has a wiki that it contains in it all of the rulings on cards that we've seen from Discord, Twitter,
Okay.
all over. If you've got a question about a specific card or a mechanic or a type of, or they have some that are about like general concepts, like
Hmm.
during a challenge. There is a whole section of
Hmm.
rulings on what happens during a challenge and whether or not it counts as in a challenge or not. Very
And
good
everyone
resource
should
for
go
this.
support them.
Yes.
Yeah, they're really wonderful. So I mean, that's always a really great resource, and they're good people. So it's kind of a win-win.
Yep. Just always be careful because it is a wiki that anyone can edit. So
Yeah,
old school Wikipedia rules apply where you can't blindly trust it. But a lot of them do
yeah.
link to the threads and sources that are either from the official Twitter account of Lorcana or one of the game devs. So they're pretty darn
Can't
good.
get better than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Ben,
A
teach
couple
me.
a couple highlights from these documents, real quick. So
Okay.
let's see here.
Oh
The
no.
first one, and this really kind of made me upset. Uh, if you are judging an event of Lorcana, you are not allowed to be playing in that event in any way at any level of play.
Okay. Oh.
So in Magic World, if this is like some casual event at your local store, they have no problem with you judging and playing at the same time.
Right.
Lorcana and Ravensburger, however, are of the opinion that if you're judging, you can't be playing, and if you're playing, you can't be judging. Like just
That's kind of
you're not
upsetting.
filling your role. And I get that
Yeah.
for large events. Like if you
Yeah,
have more than like
absolutely.
8, 10 people, like yeah, you're going to be
Hmm.
ping ponging around the room doing stuff, managing logistics. I get it, but a lot
Yeah.
of stores have very small communities, and if you want to
Yeah.
have somebody who's acting as a judge to help with rules and things like that, that's taking somebody out of your tournament, and
Hmm.
that's going to end up hurting you more than it helps, in my opinion, at least.
Well, and I know at least for our local tournaments, everyone has to pay an entry fee. So that's entry fee that they're losing out on for a
That too.
person, which is kind of a decent amount of money.
Hmm.
Like when I went and played, it was $10 a person. So now you're losing $10
Yeah.
and you're gaining a judge that you're not paying.
Yeah.
So I
Well, I
mean,
mean, a lot of
yeah.
stores do the like if you judge, we'll let you play for free kind of a thing, especially for very
Okay.
small events. Like that's a really commonplace thing. Of like if you help with rules questions, we'll let you in. But that's not
Nice.
even an option here. So
Yeah.
they confirmed that there will be a ban list of players. So if you get banned for doing terrible things and cheating, what have you, there will be a global public ban list of people who are not allowed to play in these events.
Don't be a bad person. Pretty
Yep.
simple.
You are not allowed to write anything down or take any notes during a match other than your lore totals.
Yeah, I thought that was a little odd. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, these are 60 card decks. They're not small by any means. So having notes on what your player has discarded, what they put in their inkwell, would be really nice to have, especially if you're in like a grand finale tournament. That's kind of
Mm-hmm.
high pressure. This isn't something that's uncommon in the community, so I thought it was a little interesting that they were just like, nope, we're not doing it. You're gonna have
Yeah.
to really rely on your memory.
Yeah, because that's something that's really common in a lot of formats of Magic is players doing a turn one play of I would like to look at your hand, make you discard one card from it, and the joy of this is yeah I get to take a card out of your hand, but also I get to see everything that's in your hand, and they will sit
Right.
there and they will write down the name of every card that they saw, and as you play them they'll cross it off, and this doesn't take more than an
Yep.
extra 30 seconds or so, so it's not like this is
No.
holding up play for an eternity. And I can imagine,
Mm-mm.
especially in a game like Lorcana, where right now there's no interaction during your opponent's turn, writing
Right.
down the name of the thing that they inked this turn is not going to slow the game down any. Like, at
No, because you're
all.
not doing anything. You're just
Right.
watching. You
Yeah, I'll
are
just sit here and keep an eye on things. I'll be writing this down while you think.
exactly, yeah.
So that caught me very off guard. And then
Yeah.
the last big one is that they have hidden in the end of round procedures for this. So I'm going to kind of read this verbatim for a sec. Once time has been called in a round, no new game should begin, and any game in progress will immediately proceed to end of round procedures, where the active player should finish their turn, and after that turn, there are 5 total turns remaining in the game. Now, the neat part is this. Each turn taken after the turn during which time was called will count towards the 5 game total, regardless of whose turn it is. Now, how could it possibly be anything other than ping ponging between the two players?
Yeah. I mean,
This
unless they're trying to
confirms
talk
that at
about
some point in time they're going to
multiplayer.
print a take an extra turn effect.
Right.
Like it's
Yeah.
coming. It is it.
Yeah.
They have the rules in place to handle it already. It's got to be there.
Well, and it's just kind of like having reactions. Like, I think at this point, we're expecting them. We
Hmm.
don't know what set it'll be in, but the rules have already lent themselves to, it's there. It just isn't here yet.
Yeah. I still think that's the main reason we haven't seen the core rules document is because they've got secrets in there
It
they don't
could
want
be.
us knowing.
Well,
I
and
I
so,
have a
like,
hunch that this one snuck through and they didn't realize they were giving anything away
yeah.
with this.
And they were just like, well, we have to get these rules out because people are playing.
Yep.
So, um, that is interesting. And I remember, when this whole game was, first being talked about and coming out and stuff, they said that, the first couple of sets were going to be, introductions for new players. So maybe that's why, like you said, like they're holding off on the document. They're going to get, maybe even set 4 will come out, and then maybe we'll get the rules after that because it's like, all right, training wheels are off. We have all of our keywords for now. You're really now starting to play the game and its essence, and then we'll give you like full rules document. So
Yeah.
that could be what we're seeing here. I'm kind of hoping that that's the case. Um, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
I'm kind of hoping that if we keep keeping like just a little bit of fan pressure of like, okay, that's great. Can we have the rules now? Like that maybe
Yeah.
they'll be like, okay, fine. We need to make a half-baked version of the rules. Go through it, pull everything out
Hmm.
that's not out for set 3, so we can drop that, please.
Right. Yeah. Because it is really nice to have these specific interaction questions because I know like I've already run into like 2 or 3 questions just playing on my own and it's just like who do you ask? Because the random guy at the store doesn't know either. You're
Yep.
Googling with the hope that you find someone else who has run into this scenario, or
Yep.
you do what you think is right, and then 2 months from now, we're going to be like, oh, hey, that was wrong. Doesn't matter now, but,
Yeah.
so.
I can't speak from firsthand experience, but I've heard descriptions of the rule system for Yu-Gi-Oh, which is less like a rules document and more like the U.S. legal court system,
Oh,
where everything
gosh.
is ruling by precedent. You go find a judge that has
No.
ruled on this situation that is higher level than you, and you say, well, they ruled that way, so I'm going to copy that.
Oh, I hate that. Please
Yep.
don't make us
And
do
that's how
that.
everything happens. Is just if you have to go find case law for a card game.
Oh, no, no, thank you.
And so
That's
I'm
too
looking at what's
much.
happening here and I'm like, please, not like this.
No,
No. So seeing them
please give
confirm
us
in one of
like
these
a.
documents, they did reference there's also the core rules document that you should be referring to for
Right.
things. I'm like, thank you.
Yeah, we're not studying law to play a card
No.
game. No, we're not qualified for that. We don't want that. So
No. Not that kind
it
of
is.
rules
It
lawyer,
is.
please.
No, it's nice to know that it's coming. It just might take some time, which is unfortunate. And
Yeah.
like we said, the only thing you can do now at the meantime is look at the fan wiki, trust your instincts, talk to other people around you. Um, everyone who's playing this game is obviously new to the game because the game is new. So that's kind of the nice part where you can be like, well, what do you think happens here? And just try and talk amongst your fellow players.
Yeah.
Was there anything else from the document that
No, that's the big
that
highlights.
was it? Okay.
I'm happy to see that they've got stuff out for how to fix things at tournaments. I'm really
Hmm.
excited that they did something that I've kind of wanted Magic to do for a while. In Magic, we
Okay.
have two different documents. One, the judging at regular document, that's how you handle your casual events, and one that's the infraction procedure guide for how you handle your competitive events.
Hmm.
They smashed both of those together into the same document here. And so it's one
Oh.
document that handles everything. They just call out certain differences where applicable between the two types of events. So, like, showing up late to a match is handled a lot more casually. Like, if you're there in the first 10 minutes, we'll just let you off with a warning at a casual store event. But at a large
Hmm.
competitive event where we've got hundreds of people playing, we need you to start on time because it's going to make
Yeah.
everybody else run late if you run late. So it comes with a
Yeah.
game loss for showing up late. And
And
there are a
that's
bunch of
how it
different
should
things here
be.
and there that just make sense.
Yeah.
But it all being
And
one document
that's
means that you don't have to like think, okay, which one am I using today? Right, that one. Okay, which means I can do this and no.
hmm. Yeah, you can just quickly pull it up, and also don't be late to your games.
Yes,
Please have
please.
a good excuse if you are.
If you got to
That's
use the
just my
bathroom, tell
opinion
someone
on that.
before you go just so they can let your opponent
Yes.
know, please.
Yeah, or like go and check in with your opponent and be like, "Hey, I'll be 2 seconds." Like that's
Mhm.
all you need. Just check
Yes.
in with someone.
Just
Yeah.
so we know you're here. That's it.
Yes. Because you get really bored sitting there and then you're just like, why am I all alone? Why don't I have an opponent? I don't have a buy, so something's wrong. Yeah, just
Maybe I
chill
have a
out.
buy. We'll find out in 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Um, okay, so we've talked about the tournament document highlights, but we both played in stores
Hmm.
in tournaments of our own. So I think that it would be really cool to kind of share and talk about that experience a little bit. Um, I know around me there is like a document that's been circulating around like the Minneapolis area that like shows like what stores have like what days for tournaments.
Nice.
Basically, we have so many. Any day of the week you want to go play Lorcana, there is a store out there for you. On Saturday, I think there's like three stores. On Sunday, there's like two. Like you can take your pick. Like
Nice.
it's been really nice to see the community has like really embraced the game. So I went to go play at tabletop tournaments. It was a very small shop. They were very nice and sweet. Um, didn't have a ton in the way of product. And then I was just asking, about prizes because it wasn't very specific online about what they offered. And basically, you got a pack for showing up, and you got a pack for everyone, which is actually
Wow.
pretty freaking good.
What
And
was
then
the
they were
entry fee
doing
on this?
raffles, $10.
Holy cow!
And then
That's
they were doing raffles.
phenomenal.
Yeah, they were doing raffles throughout the night for pins that they had and also promos. And so,
Nice.
and I think they did like seven, it was either five or seven. But we won a pin, and it was one that
Hey,
we didn't have yet. And
nice.
so it's on my board. It's back there. You can't really see it that well. But she's up there because I'm gonna display my pins.
Oh yeah.
I was really sad that I didn't get the Hey Hey promo just because like I love that card for some reason. But it's
It's
fine. Maybe
they
next
called
time.
it a boat snack. Like, it's
And
just
that's
such a good
why,
name.
yeah, it is. It is. The boat snack is too good. Um, but it was great. And I mean, so I went with my partner. We ended up leaving with 6 packs. So I mean, that's
Nice.
pretty good. Yeah.
$20 for 6 packs.
And
That is better than MSRP. Yeah.
yes, yeah, we made bank
Yeah.
basically. So
Nice.
yeah, yeah. And we asked how much product do they have, as far as like kind of long term, and they said that they had enough until Chapter 2 released. And I was like, good for you.
Good for them.
So yeah, it was really wonderful. The community was really great. It was really fun to see the different decks that were being played. I will say it is a little unfortunate right now, just with kind of the card shortages, that
Mhm.
there are just some people showing up with starter decks, and it is a little hard for them to get paired against someone who has a pre-constructed deck. You
Yeah.
know, my partner and I were fortunate to have 3 booster box, so we have kind of almost every card that we would need to make a deck that's pretty good. So naturally, like he went 3-0 and I went 2-1. So like we did pretty good there. The people with the starter decks aren't gonna do as well, and that's
Yeah.
that's just the nature of it. And I hope that as they continue to play, they gather more cards and they can kind of make more decks.
Yeah.
But
That's
it was
that's one
pretty,
thing
it
I
was
hate
pretty
about that
big.
prize structure is, and I don't have like a solution for it either. Is that the
No,
players who have the better cards are going to do better, which means they're going to win more
yeah,
prizes, which is going to give them more packs that they don't need. Like
yep. It's
it
hard.
feels like a win more kind of a scenario just in general with us. Like
Yeah,
I
it's
want a
almost
way to
like pay to
funnel packs
win.
to the folks who need them,
Oh, absolutely.
not 80%
I will.
80% of the cards being held by 20% of the players. Like
Yeah. I have a couple of friends that haven't been able to get a ton of product yet, and we kind of went through all of our cards, and we were just like, what do we have more than 8 of? Because eight, is a two person play set. And
right.
so anything that we have more than 8 of, we have put in a binder, and we're just gonna go like be like Robin Hood and give away our cards to our friends and help them kind of build up their decks a little bit more. But if you don't have that, it can be really hard. You just have to kind of sit there and buy stuff over MSRP, or go hunt every day for a pack of cards and pray that there's something in there that you can tweak your deck with,
Yeah.
you
Or
know.
go buy in singles, but that requires you to like craft a deck in advance, which
Oh yeah, and
something that's really hard with a new game especially is trying to figure out what a good deck looks like. Like we
yeah,
don't
I
have any of the
tweaked.
resources like we do for Magic where it's like I can just go look up. I want to go play these colors in this format and it's like cool, here's like two
Yeah,
or three deck ideas and a bunch of different lists that have done well in tournaments. Go ahead and just copy one of these and there you go. It's like we don't
yeah,
have big tournaments. We don't know what's good. No
no,
one knows what's
yeah.
good.
No, we're all just making it up as we go. And I mean, I tweak my deck probably every day
Mhm.
because I'll play and then I'll be like, oh, this card actually isn't needed. I'm going to put in more of this. Or like as I'm getting more cards, I'm like, I could use another Mother Gothel in my deck. I'm going to add her and take out this other one cost card or something. That's just kind of where we're at. And yeah, it's hard. I feel bad for it. It's you don't feel good when you're beating someone down, right? Either where you're like, I'm very
Yeah.
clearly going to win, and yeah, yeah,
My favorite games are the ones that are close. I don't care
yeah,
whether
oh
I'm
yeah,
winning or losing. My favorite games are the ones that are close.
yeah. I played one game. Oh man, let's talk about this. I was at 18 lore, and my opponent was at 5. He dragon fired me 4 times, and he be prepared me twice, and he came back and won. And I was stuck at
Nice.
18. The entire time I was like, I just have to get 2 lore. I can
Uh
do
huh.
this. Nope.
No, apparently not.
Mm-mm.
Wow.
Mm-mm. Felt real bad when I lost that one, but it also was a very mentally engaging game where I actually had to think about how can I win this, and it turns out I couldn't. It's probably misplaced somewhere in there on my part,
Yeah.
but it was so good, and it makes you feel good, like thinking wise, where you're like, oh, like I can actually like critically like think my way out of this one. So
Yeah. Well, we've got a new card coming in chapter 2 that would have helped you out specifically in that situation. So transitioning into this a little here, the Sorcerer's Spellbook is one of the new cards
oh
that got spoiled. This is the first time we've seen something that isn't a character that can give you lore.
oh, you're right. I didn't even think about that.
So this can, first off, it can the turn it comes down, you can use it immediately because items don't have
Yes,
to wait
it's
for
an
their ink to
item.
dry. So
Right.
if you've got 4 ink, you can use this turn the turn it comes down to just gain 1 lore now. But
So
also,
cool.
it's a little bit harder to deal with items than it is anything else. I think we have a total of 2 cards right now: Beast and then Smash can
Correct.
deal with
Yeah, those
items.
are the only two. Yep.
Uh, but something like that, like when you're stuck in those situations where it's like I'm close, but I need to just get over the finish line. This will give
Yeah.
you a sink for leftover ink, so you can have it be useful for something.
I could have really used that card. But yeah, so let's talk about chapter two. Since we woke up this morning and there was just nothing but news. So
Yes,
chapter two obviously confirmed. It is called Disney Lorcana: Rise of the Floodboard. Um, and can you give
plot.
us
The
a
plot
reminder of what?
comes.
Yes, the plot comes. Do you want to give us a reminder of what Floodborn is first?
Yeah, so that is one of the character subtypes. There's Storyborn, Floodborn, Inkborn, and a fourth one that I
Dreamborn.
don't. What is it? Dreamborn.
Dreamborn.
And if I remember right, we haven't seen one of those on a card yet.
We've seen all three of them.
We have seen. Okay, then I remember seeing there is a fifth type out there that we haven't seen yet.
Okay.
That was hinted at by Ravensburger at some point. Don't hold me to
Okay.
that. I don't have the article in front of me. I might just be super wrong, but I could have sworn that that was a thing.
Okay.
Anyway, and the kind of the core difference is Storyborn is like your canon version of a character. Like this is what shows up in the movie, in the book, in the TV show, what have you. It's exactly what you would
It's a boat
expect.
stack.
It's a
It's a
boat
boat
stack.
stack.
But then all of the other different versions are like different, like what if universes. Like what if Gaston was actually the smart one? Is actually one of the cards that's it coming out in the second set here. Gaston,
Oh, it's
intellectual
so weird.
powerhouse. Um,
It's so weird.
so I'm really thrilled to dig more into like what the different types mean because all I
Yeah.
know at least is that Storyborn is canon, everything else is non-canon.
Yeah.
But it looks like Floodborn is almost like what if some part of the story was switched? Like
Right.
what if Gaston was the smart one and Belle was dumb?
Oh, it's so weird.
What if Cinderella saved herself? What if
Yeah.
like
I
all
mean,
sorts of
heck
different
yeah.
things
Like
here?
I'm here for it.
Um,
Um, so we did get a little bit of lore. I'll read you verbatim.
yes,
Um,
please.
The set dips into the inky origins of Floodborn Glimmers. The six magical inks, amber, amethyst, emerald, ruby, sapphire, and steel, were released in a mixed up chaotic form, resulting in a mysterious flood which damaged the Great Illuminary. When Storyborn or Dreamborn Glimmers encounter this mixed ink, they surge with a power that changes them, transforming them into Floodborn Glimmers. As the magical ink poured out of the Illuminary, treasured lore went with it, including King Triton's powerful trident. So something happened to the trident. Don't know what. Don't know if
Huh.
it's going to be in the set, but something happened to it, and I want to know what.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
We've we've got a plot and we've got a little bit more backstory behind where
yeah,
everybody comes from. I guess the
exactly.
so Storyborn is the canon version. And I guess Dreamborn is just ideas that people have had. So
So,
Floodborn is more things getting mixed up, and Dreamborn is
yes.
more a new conceptualization.
Yeah, when I look at the Dreamborn cards, I always like to think of it as the character and what they dream that they actually want to be like. So like if you look at like the Dreamborn Captain Hook, he has like a sword, and like Tinkerbell is like captured in like a lantern for him. So I like to think that like that's like his dream,
That's their
versus
dreams. That's
like
a neat
the
idea.
yeah, versus like his Floodborn version. I think he's like Peter Pan or Tinkerbell, and he's like flying
Yeah.
up above Big Ben. So it's definitely like this weird concept that's like that didn't happen in the movie. But his Dreamborn version is what he wants it to be, and that's kind of how I reconcile it in my head. Um, so this is releasing to your friendly local game stores November 17th. Worldwide December 1st. Of course, who knows what that looks like. We can only
Yeah.
hope that they've learned from chapter one.
I think it'll be better.
Uh,
I
I think it
I've
has to
I
be.
have no like inside sources or anything to indicate this, but I think like something we saw at Gen Con was that after day one, they learned and improved, and day two was
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Like every time with Ravensburger, it seems to be we're gonna mess up once, but only once so far, at least.
Yeah.
Like we messed up on the print run for set one. They've told us not like that they haven't told us to start worrying about set two, which I mean it wouldn't benefit them
Right.
too, but also nobody on the inside has leaked that there's problems.
No.
And everything that I've seen has been hinting at, yeah, it's okay now.
Hmm.
Like it seems like they learn quick, and
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah. As
If we
long
got to
as
have a rocky start once and then you figure it out, that's fine with me. I'll wait through that.
right. Yeah, as long as set two goes better, I think we'll be okay. Of course, set two will have over 200 cards, so the same amount as chapter one. So you're really going to be expanding your collection. I know I'm already running out of room and need
Yep.
to figure out storage. Yeah, it's fun. We'll figure it out as we get there. Um, but they did release a few of the properties that are going to be in set two.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Pinocchio, so classic Disney, Zootopia, which heck yes, because
We
that's one of my
yep.
favorite movies. Yes, and also a modern, so nice mix of classic and modern. The Great Mouse Detective, so another throwback. The
Nice.
Jungle Book, another throwback, kind of our childhood basically.
Yeah.
Raya and the Last Dragon, which also new.
Okay.
Really great princess archetypes, I'm sure, coming out of that one.
Oh yeah.
Um,
I'm looking
and
forward to
then
cards having the type line Princess Dragon now. Yes.
yes, let's do it. And then also we saw from the previews that we know that Winnie the Pooh will be in it too, which
Yes.
I can't wait to show that card
Let
because
me
I'm
pull
so
that up now
excited.
because that.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, this art is so good.
Oh,
Why does
Winnie
this
the Pooh
card
is
have to
my
be so
boy.
mediocre? Oh my
I
gosh.
know. But look at his happy little face and his little wizard cloak. He's
It's
just a
so
happy little
good.
Pooh Bear.
Like let me see.
Um,
I think I can zoom in on this a bit. Like
okay.
this is
Look at him.
here.
Look at him. Oh,
That's
his
so
little face.
phenomenal.
His little face and his little ears and then his little cloak. Oh, it's just incredible. Whoever
Uh,
did this card, hats off to them.
well, John Lauren.
John
Thank you,
Lauren.
John
John
Lauren.
Lauren.
Thank
You're
you.
incredible. I need like a print of this in my house. That's what I need.
Well, they've
Um,
confirmed we've got a playmat coming at least.
Yes. And
So
that will
yes.
be in my house, like framed. Like I'm not even using it. It's just going. It'll be back here behind me because it's so darn cute. Um, so we'll go through all of the cards, but one thing that I did want to bring attention to is that we are getting a new mechanic for this set.
Hmm.
It is called Resist. I
Yep.
just lost how to say words for a second. Resist, which indicates how much additional damage characters may be able to withstand. For example, if you see a character that has Resist +2, which is what we're seeing on Cinderella right here, then that means that a character will reduce any damage dealt to them by 2. So what I really like about this is that it kind of negates Fire the Cannons or
Yep.
any
Raise your
one
swords.
drop that you Yep, any one drop that you have that's a simple 2/2, they're
Hmm.
not going to be able to help take out the character, which I think will be a really interesting way to help deal with characters because normally, like, oh, it's a one drop, I don't care, I can just throw it into the character. Well, now you're gonna have to actually start using some of your big boys
Yep.
to do damage. So
Maui got a
kind of
little bit
even the
better
playing
here.
field. Maui did get a little bit better. You're right. So let's go ahead. I guess we can start with Cinderella since she's on screen.
Yeah.
So this is a 7-drop steel Cinderella. She is 5/5. Floodborn hero princess knight. She shifts for 5. There is also already another Cinderella in set 1, so we know that that's viable.
Mm-hmm.
She has resist, and then the singing sword. Whenever you play a song, this character may challenge ready characters this turn, and she quests for 3 lore.
That's
Strong card.
disgustingly good.
Yep, strong
Oh.
card. It's super
Turn
rare, so it
5,
will be a
drop
little bit
down,
harder to
go and
get.
attack something that's ready that your opponent was not okay with you attacking. Like this
Yeah,
can disrupt like Facilier board states where they're just regenerating everything.
right.
And that resist is going to make this so difficult to get rid of, especially for Facilier style decks that have a bunch of small things running around.
Yeah,
This
that's true.
this is going to shake that deck up pretty hard, I think.
And I think this was a card that Steel needed. In my
Mm-hmm.
opinion, Steel has been a little weak. So to have a kind of a bigger card available, I think will only do them favors. So I'm excited to see people play with this. I'm excited to see it out and about. I think there's only one Cinderella card so far, right? It's
I
just the
think that's
Amber
accurate.
Cinderella. Yeah. So it will be a little hard to get your shift off, and you're going to have to play with Amber if you want to be able to use it. So,
Yeah. So that's I couldn't easily check you on the Cinderella thing. I was trying to confirm, but
that's
I
okay.
think that's accurate.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, looking forward to
So,
seeing this get played. I've seen a few people in my communities who I think they are overreacting a little bit, but are calling
okay.
for this card being like the downfall of the game. like
Oh, I
like
think that's a
this
little
is too much.
harsh.
You're power creeping in set 2 this hard. What's wrong with you?
Oh, I
Um,
think that's a little harsh,
I agree.
but I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, like we might they might be right, we might be wrong, and this ends up being like a
Yeah.
dominant thing of the meta, and it's either are you playing the Cinderella deck or the deck that beats the Cinderella deck.
Right. Yeah.
But I hope we don't end up there, especially not this early in a game's lifetime. I love metas that are variable and wide.
Yeah.
One
And you know what
thing
I
also
love?
going. Oh yeah, what?
I love that this is a princess card, and you can use
Yes.
Moana with it. That's oh, give it to
Mm-hmm.
me. So good, so good.
We've also got Knight as a type on this card, which I could
Yeah,
see Knight being a relevant card type as well. Maybe
yeah.
not yet, but it certainly could in the future.
There are many a knights in all of the Disney lore, so it's not like we're on a lack of them.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, do you want to take over the next card?
Yeah, so let's we skipped over one going alphabetical order here, just so we could hit
Okay.
that new mechanic early. So we've got Bell, a 5-cost non-inkable 3/3 that has shift 3, so you can shift it onto another Bell on turn 3 potentially. If I remember right, there is a 2-cost Bell already out. And it has a quest for 3 lore and has thorny arrows. Whenever this character is challenged, the challenging character's player discards all cards in their hand. We've
It's
seen
so
an effect like
good.
this with Flynn Rider, but it's only
Yep,
one with him. This is the
yep.
whole thing.
hmm And so my main deck right now is Ruby Emerald, and I will embrace this card wholeheartedly. This will fit right in with my Cheshire Cat, my Flynn Rider, my Genie.
Yep.
Discard cards, discard your people on the board. Get them out of here. I don't want them. Oh, it's so good, and the art's cute.
Yeah, it is very good art,
hmm
and the ability is also super good, and the questing for 3, like that's what's killing me here. Is like you've got a
Yeah.
card that can quest for 3 potentially on turn 3.
Yep.
Like that, it requires a
It
little bit of
is.
setup, but you can get there realistically.
Yeah, I think the one thing that's hindering it is a 3/3. So it will be
Yeah.
easy to kill. So you'll probably only realistically get that off maybe twice, unless you're playing like a really big Maui, and then you're only gonna get it off once. But I mean, it's a great ability, and anytime you get to use it, you'll benefit from it. So,
Yeah, that's totally fair. The only thing that kind of scares me with this is if you do get it out on turn 3, your opponent's going to have so many cards in
mm,
hand, they're not going to want to deal with this even if they can. And
and
it's
then
got
they'll just
3
let you.
health, which is just enough to put it out of cannon's range or sword's range.
Yeah,
Smash gets it in 1 perfectly.
yeah.
We'll have to see if
Dragonfire.
oh, of course, Dragonfire will get anything.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but we'll have to see what kind of removal we have in set 2 to come along with
Right,
this. Is 3 toughness enough to survive most things, or is it actually just dies to a strong breeze? Uh,
right.
we'll find out.
Yeah, I'm excited to see. It's also a legendary, so it'll be a little bit of a tough
Yep.
one to get. But here's to hoping that I get one because I want it in my deck.
Yep. So next
Oh,
up is Dinner Bell. We have a
dinner
new item
bell.
coming as well. It's a 4-cost uninkable item, uh, which you can ring the bell and you know what happens. Uh, which just for a new card getting spoiled. No, I don't.
Exactly.
So you can exert this and pay 2 ink to draw cards equal to the damage on chosen character of yours, then banish them.
Oof.
So
Wow.
this is a classic kind of a sacrifice play mechanic where you've got something that you know is going to get banished relatively soon just from damage or combat or whatever, and you can throw it out to get some value back in cards. Um,
However, I will
yeah.
say one of the biggest complaints that we've had so far from set 1 is card draw. So this is a really great way to now get card draw back into the game.
Yep.
Of course, you have to stack it, but I mean, if you've got a ton of damage on your characters, maybe you even spread it out just to kind of get that damage because you know you're going to play this. Suddenly, you've got a full hand of cards again. So
Yeah.
that'll kind of ease that one complaint that we have. And of course, this is just one card, so hopefully there's 2 or 3 in the other 200 that also have card draw.
Yeah. Just if anybody's new to trading card lingo, sack is shorthand for sacrifice.
Oh yeah,
Anything that makes you get rid of your own things. So this is a sacrifice effect, kind of a sack effect. People will call this card a sack outlet because it's a way to get rid of an outlet for the things that you need to sacrifice. Which
what property do you think this is from? Because
I
I
have
don't
no
know.
idea. I've been trying to figure this. I
What
thought I was a
movie?
moron by not knowing what it was, and then you asked the question. I'm like,
No.
okay, good. I'm not alone. Uh,
The one thing that I could think of is Beauty and the Beast. That's my one. Maybe that's Beast in the background.
I
I
could
don't know.
see it.
Maybe. I don't.
Like,
Viewer, if you're watching this and you have opinions, drop it in a comment below and tell us what you think this card is from because we don't know. And we've watched probably every Disney movie out there. So I
like
like to
I
think we're
know
knowledgeable on this subject.
I know that I'm wrong, but I'm getting flashbacks to the to Gravity Falls with Pacifica and the
Oh,
bell that her parents would ring. And
maybe one
again, I
day,
know that's wrong, but like I
but
would love to see Gravity Falls show up in this game at some point, please.
I would love like Disney Channel. Like let's go like Phineas and Ferb. Like give me a playing
Yes.
card.
Oh my gosh, please give me like a Perry the Platypus that exerts my opponent's Doofenshmirtz. Like, oh my
Oh my
goodness.
gosh. That would be so
Have
cute.
Doofenshmirtz come out the same time we get reactions for traps.
Yeah,
Oh my
that would be
gosh.
smart.
Please make
Yeah,
this happen.
yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I'm sure we're gonna get Pix. Well, we are getting. No, we aren't for sure getting Pixar in this set. It hasn't been confirmed.
no,
Um,
no. I almost said that
no.
too when I heard Zootopia was coming out, and I'm like, nope.
Yeah,
Close, but not quite.
Disney Animation.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So wait, we're still waiting on Pixar. We're still waiting on Disney Afternoon, but they're all owned, so hopefully they come.
Yeah. I'm fine waiting for a
Yeah.
little while at least. Like they
Oh
can
yeah.
take your time and ease into it. It's okay.
The one thing I was surprised, I was kind of hoping set 2 would have some Halloweeny vibes, just because it is like in the fall. So I
Yeah.
was hoping like Nightmare Before Christmas or something, but
Oh,
that's
that'd have been good.
okay. That's okay. I can wait. I'm fine waiting. Anyway,
But
hit us with another card.
yeah, so we're talking about wanting new stuff. How about another Elsa? Um,
Yeah, I've seen this story. I'm kind of over the Elsas. I'm not gonna lie. This is Frozen 2 Elsa. She's
yeah,
got the horse and she's got her Frozen 2 dress on. So I mean, it's got that going for it. But
and it's a really good art as well on this. Like, I know we're whining
yeah,
about more Elsa Ugg, but it's also really well drawn. So like, no
it
complaints
is.
in that department.
No, she has a queen too. So she's we'll read the whole thing. So she's Amethyst, 4 cost inkable. Elsa gloves off. She is a 3/4 storyborn hero queen sorcerer, and she has challenger +3. So she's pretty standard as far as a card goes. Challenger we've seen before, obviously. Um, I don't know. I could see this just being kind of an inkable card unless you really need to have the power out on the field.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. I don't know if Amethyst really needed this particularly, but here we got it. So this is probably the card I'm least excited for in this set
Yeah,
that we've seen so far for
I mean, it's a
previews.
common. Like,
It is.
it's fine. It doesn't need to be show stopping. Like, if every
That's true.
common was show stoppingly good, we'd be in a bad place. So that's fine.
Not every common can be a boat snack.
Yep.
It's just hard. Yeah.
um, let's. I brought it up a little bit earlier, but we didn't actually dive into the contents of it much. Let's take a look at the
Yes.
intellectual powerhouse that is Gaston. Um,
Oh
a,
boy.
a 6-cost uninkable, Floodborn villain, 4/4, has shift for 4 as well. And quests for 3, and has, when you play this character, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, put 1 into your hand, and the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. So for the Magic nerds, that's an anticipate effect. That's It seems good, not
Yeah.
amazingly good, but fine.
What does develop your brain do? I might have to cut this out, but I thought that that's the same effect as develop your
It's
brain.
close. Develop your brain is the top 2, one on top, and I believe
Oh, okay.
one in your hand and one on bottom. This is look at the top
That's
3.
yeah.
So dig a little
Okay.
bit further.
Yep. Okay. And I guess that's why it's developed brain. Uh, now that I'm reading the effect, developed brain versus develop your brain, and they're both sapphire. So okay, I see what they're doing
Yeah,
here.
that's pretty
Um,
cute. I wish they had given it a slightly
yeah,
different name,
yeah.
like improve your brain
And
or something. But yeah,
he's a rare. And then like you said, just floodborn villain. There is a Gaston in Ruby, I believe. I think it's Gaston and LeFou are both rubies, so you would have to
yes,
play with this to get your shift off. Um, and it is kind of interesting how these new shifts are like you can use it, but you got to pair it with this card color. So it's kind of fun to see them try and like create sets on their own.
yeah.
And I have a ruby sapphire deck built right now, so hey, I put them in.
There's also always the possibility that we've got another Gaston coming out in the set that's going to be
Yeah,
in blue as well. So
yeah,
we don't know everything yet. It's what 200 yeah, it's another 204 card set.
200 cards,
So there might be a Gaston in there again. Who knows?
right? I mean,
But
if
if
you
this
can
set's
have like
anything to
four
go off of,
Elsa
if
and
they have a shift, they like printing 2 other cards with the same name in the same color, just so you
hmm
have a decent set of things to pull from.
right. Like Aurora, you have like what
Yeah.
2 or 3 Auroras,
There's like
so
3
yeah,
Stitches. There's 3
yeah,
Faciliers.
yeah, that's true.
Like they really like doing that. So we'll see if it keeps up or not.
Yeah.
Um,
And this is just obviously the first like 12 or 13 cards, so we've got a heck of a lot more to go.
yeah. Well, we were just talking
All
about
right.
develop your brain. We've got Merlin showing up as a character this
Oh,
time.
nice.
A,
Good for him.
a
Love that upgrade for him.
yep. It's a 4-cost inkable card. It's a storyborn mentor sorcerer. 1 attack, 5 defense, and quests for 1 lore with a battle of wits. Whenever one of your other characters is returned to your hand from play, this character gets +1 lore pip this turn.
Strong.
That is a very bold statement to be making. That like bouncing your own stuff to your hand is going to be a thing you do often in this set. If I'm not mistaken, I think there's like only one or two effects in green that bounce things right now. Bounce, again, shorthand for return card from in play to your hand.
I don't know how you would get it returned. What cards return cards to your hand then? I can't think of any.
Corella does, if I'm not mistaken. On death, you can return. And there's another. There's another green action, I believe, that returns something to its owner's hand.
Okay.
So there are a couple ways to do it, but again, they're both green. So I guess we're going to see more of that in purple? Or are you just heavily implying that you should be playing green-purple? Like,
they're like, we think Amethyst Emerald is overrated and you guys aren't doing it, so we're going to, like, help you along and, like, make the meta for you.
Yeah. I just see a card like this, though, and I have two thoughts immediately. One is there a way that you can do an infinite combo of bouncing something back to your hand repeatedly over and over again? Like
Ben just wants to break stuff.
Oh yeah, of course. But then also, as a Magic nerd, Battle of Wits does not mean that. Please, no. That's an effect that's well defined. You can't do that. Stop.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah. This is also, you know what's interesting? This is a Storyborn character in a Floodborn set. I mean, I know it had.
I mean, we've got to have a little bit of everybody always, yeah. But yeah. I get that, yeah.
Yeah. Everyone else we've seen is Floodborn so far, so. All right, hit us with another one.
Let's hop over and take a look at yet another version of Mickey.
He's just so cute, though. He's a friendly face.
That is a really cute art for this, and we're going to see another cute art of this in a second, alluding to the future a little bit.
Yes.
So a 6 cost, yeah.
Yep.
6 cost, inkable card. It's a character, a Storyborn hero. 1 attack, 6 defense. And has Glad You're Here. Whenever this character quests, you pay 3 ink less for the next character you play this turn.
Strong.
Very strong, especially when you quest for 3. Like, that's phenomenal.
It is 6 cost, so you do need to pay a little bit to get there. This is not a first turn, second turn, even third turn card. Unless you're ramping really hard with Sapphire. So you do need to kind of pay to get this out, but man, oh man, will it pay for itself once you get it out. So.
Yep. And the game is pretty good about limiting you to questing only once per turn with a character. It usually doesn't let you do it multiple times. So it's going to be kind of hard to like reap this benefit multiple times in a same turn.
Yeah. And I've been playing the Moana, who also is a 1/6, and like it actually is kind of a considerable effort to kill something with 6 defense. So that means that you'll probably be able to use him, I would say, at least twice when he's out on the board. You'll have 2 turns with him, if not more, if someone's really drawing bad and doesn't have the resources to go after him. And then at that point, you know, you're up 6 lore. That's kind of a decent amount. And
you've also probably
20,
dumped a lot of other cards onto the table in the process because it's all been cost reduced for you.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, you could easily play the Moana, I believe is like a 5 or 6 cost. So, I mean, if you're paying 3 less, then she's what, a 2 or a 3? So, oh boy, it's pretty good. And she's another Amber card, which is why I keep bringing her up.
Let's take a look at a Ruby, which is we've got what, like 5 or 6 more, I think.
Oh, nice. Okay, keep them coming. Let's go. It's Raya!
Brand new property.
Oh my gosh, and look how cute she looks. Oh, it's good. So this is a 4-cost Ruby Raya. She is, I'm gonna botch this name, the Warrior of Kamandra. I've only seen the movie once, don't come for me. 5/3, and she doesn't have any abilities. She just quests for 1 lore pip. Uncommon. But I mean, she's a strong fighter. Like, if you just need a simple like card to come out and fight, this is kind of your warrior princess right there. So
yeah, hero princess.
Yeah, hero princess. Yes, thank you. Yeah, I like it, and I like seeing a new property. It's exciting.
Yeah, I'm glad to see it too. I wish that the preview they gave us was a little stronger for Raya. This seems it's an uncommon, and it seems like a pretty mediocre one to me. Like
Yeah,
this
it
does
could
challenge
easily
for
be
5, but it costs
common.
4 already. Like that's
Right.
not a great deal of savings. Now, maybe this is going to be
Hmm.
a lot more useful this set if we have a bunch of, like, oh shoot, what was the name of the mechanic from Cinderella? I'm going to just pull it up real quick. The resist.
Resist.
If we have a bunch of resist, like 1s and 2s floating around on stuff, dealing 5
Hmm.
damage all in one blow is going to be a lot more valuable. So maybe
Hmm.
this ends up being useful. This seems especially
Right.
good if there ends up being a way that you can grant resist to a character you've already got. Like some sort
Hmm.
of way to like enchant them or permanently give them a bonus or something like that.
Or like an item that would give it. That would be cool.
Yeah. I could see a bunch of different ways this card could end up being pretty good, but in a vacuum, it just
Hmm.
seems okay.
Right. I'm hoping so. She's got her sword in that image, so I'm wondering if we'll see the sword kind of come out as an item. That would be pretty cool that we could pair with
Yeah,
this.
that would be very nice.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure Sisu is somewhere. I mean, we know Sisu's going to be in the set, so we'll have to wait and see what she does.
Yeah. But of course, we've got to have at least a few villains in this set too. So we've got the Queen coming.
Ooh. How? So I want to know what's Floodborn about her first off. What makes her different? Is she like what is that around her? I don't know. Is
That's a
she like
great
a? Is
question.
she a chemist? Is she a chemist maybe?
This looks kind of chemisty.
I'm
Commanding
getting like
presence is all we get on
Yzma
the subtype.
vibes.
Yeah,
All right, I'm
that's.
calling her the Queen Yzma. Now that's all I've got for her. Um, so she's a 5 cost, the Queen, commanding presence. She's Amber. She's 4/3. She can shift for 2. And then the ability is Who is the fairest? Whenever this character quests, chosen opposing character gets -4 attack this turn, and chosen character gets +4 attack this turn, and she quests for 2 pips. And she is a uncommon, right? Or not
No,
uncommon, sorry, super
that's
rare.
yeah,
Super rare.
that's a 4 corners. Yep.
Yeah. So again, another will be a harder to get card, but definitely strong. So I mean,
Hmm.
the ability is coming with it, and she shifts, which is really helpful. I mean,
Also,
if you could get that out
is
turn
this the first
two,
time we've seen a shift that's more than a cost reduction of 2? Because like all the other shifts seem to be going down by 2, if I remember right, and so I think this might be our first 3.
okay.
Um,
I mean, imagine getting this out turn 2. That would be wild.
yep.
Then you're
I,
really
is
gonna
Yeah, because
dominate.
is there a queen that is turn 1? There
Oh,
are
I guess that's
Maleficents, but
it.
I don't think there's a queen that's turn 1 yet.
There might not be a queen who's turn 1.
Um,
Queen Lorcana. Let's find out. She thinks she's high. Yeah, she's a 5 cost, so which is
yeah.
the same as this one. So
And
I
again,
guess you
we've
could
only got a
pick.
small handful of cards, so there's probably going to be more in the set. But will there
Yeah,
be a 1 cost queen, or is the point here that like you spent part of your turn doing this and part of your turn playing something else? But
right.
but that
But
ability is
imagine
so
getting
strong.
to be an 8/3. Whew, man. She's taking
Well,
out Maui
anybody can
then.
get +4. It doesn't even have to be me.
I guess that's true,
Like
yeah.
you could go put this on somebody who's got resist and make them into a
Mm-hmm.
powerhouse for a turn and have them attack some other powerhouse that's now been shrunk down and getting resisted. Like you could just completely tear somebody apart with this.
See, this is why we do this game, Ben, because then you get to tell me all the great ideas that I will eventually steal and put in my decks, because that is genius right there.
But at the same time, this has only 3 health and doesn't defend itself very well.
Right.
So you maybe this goes in a Amber Ruby deck. So Ruby has a few effects that'll let you ready your own characters back up.
Yeah.
Use this, ready it back. Maybe that's the point of the shift cost being so low. So you
Mm-hmm.
play 1 queen, shift into this, use it, ready it back, pass.
Right. That would make sense. Or at least having some form of damage removal.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a little bit out there in set one that actually seems to be doing a lot of work.
Yeah.
So yeah. No, I like it. She's a chemist. She's Yzma Queen. That's what I'm calling it. If
Yas
anyone
Queen.
else, Yas Queen. Love it.
Let's see,
All
what's the next one here?
right.
Ooh,
Yeah.
one for the parks folks a little bit.
Yeah, so we've got Tiana coming to Disney World and Disneyland, and now she's coming to Lorcana, and kind of on the heels of a bunch of announcements for that too. So that's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she's a steal. She's four cost, non-inkable. She's a celebrating princess. She has 1/4. She's Dreamborn, hero, and princess. She resists for two. And what you give is what you get is her ability. While this character is exerted and you have no cards in your hand, opponents can't play actions. And she quests for two lore pips. So she's, and she's a super rare. This kind of reminds me of a Mother Gothel, just in a different vein, where Mother Gothel, when she's exerted, you
Can't
can't
quest.
quest your opponent's characters. So now for Tiana, opponents can't play actions.
Yep.
Imagine having both of those out and just having your opponent a
Oh.
gridlock. That would be
Mm-hmm.
terrible.
It's like, guess
It's
you're
so
attacking.
fun. Yeah. And she's got 1/4, so she's got a little bit of a shield, a plus with the resist.
The
So you
resist,
gotta hit
yeah.
her for, yeah, hit
To
her for a
keep
little bit to get her out of there.
you can't one putt me away. You've got to you can't well not one putt. You can't little onesie twosies to get me to go away. You've got to
No,
come in with some real things,
yeah.
multiple
Sergeant
times
Tibbs isn't
probably.
taken.
No.
Yeah, nope. No Sergeant Tibbs is hitting Tiana. And I love the art for this. The
Oh, it's great
Dreamborn, she's
art for
definitely like
sure.
her Mardi Gras princess. So I love it.
That is so
Very
very well
cool.
done. I'm
I will be taking this to Tiana's Palace in Disneyland.
Yeah, there you go. Then one more we haven't talked about.
Okay.
Our first and only song of the previews. So
Ooh.
we've got Zero to Hero, which that art I love the art to be clear, but it doesn't make me think of the
Oh,
song,
it's so
to be
good.
honest.
No, but it is young teenage Hercules, which I love to see. He's
Yeah.
so cute. I love it.
So this is a two cost amber spell. It's not spell, action, I should say. It's a song as well. So a character with cost two or more can exert to sing the song for free. Count the number of characters you have in play. You may pay that amount of ink less for the next character you play this turn. So it's almost like every character you've got in play is helping you cast the next one.
Yep.
Um,
I like this. To be honest, I don't use a lot of sounds in my decks. I haven't really found like a use for them yet. But I
mm,
think this one might be one that I'll actually try to use. It seems that it will actually help me. The other ones just kind of seem like the effects that they have are good, but I just haven't found a situation where I've needed them yet. This one actually could be useful in my opinion.
I agree. Seeing a ramp effect like this is also kind of unique. We haven't seen
Yeah.
one-time use ramp. It's
Mm-mm.
it's been stuff like Mickey that we saw earlier, which was Lantern in the first set, where the next thing you play is one cheaper, but you can keep reusing that. This is one and
Yeah.
done. You get your next thing is cheaper, and that's the entire card. That's all you're doing.
I also like that it tap or you can use a two cost person.
Hmm.
Normally songs I found are a little bit higher where it's like you need a five or a three. So to
Yes.
have just a little two will be nice because you can get those out really early. So
Yeah. Um, Now,
yeah.
I will say we don't have any rulings or anything yet, but I suspect that you'll be able to shift as well and have the shift cost be reduced.
Mm-mm.
Don't quote me
That
on
would be
that yet,
good.
but you potentially could get some serious cost reductions going on. Like I could see, like I'm thinking in a Stitch Facilier style deck where you
Yeah.
play turn one play something that quests for two, turn two play a Facilier, turn three uh, t- uh, probably tap the Facilier to cast this get it too cheaper. I believe that lets you play Facilier on 3, if I'm doing my
Hmm.
math right.
Yeah. I mean, that's scary
That's
because that's a monster.
yikes. You can start questing
Yeah.
with that turn 1 play immediately, and just they'll have no recourse for you.
No. I was thinking the same vein along with the Rockstar Stitch. Get out your little new dog, turn one, and then
Ooh.
play this, and then get your Rockstar Stitch. I mean, that's hard to keep up with.
Yep. And then you keep dropping things out like the and the thing the
Exactly.
wonderful part is that both like Rockstar Stitch and Facilier can go in the same deck. Like this could
Right.
just
Yeah.
be the next version of that deck, which is one that
Yeah.
I that was the first deck I played in a tournament,
Okay.
and I had a lot of fun with it until I kept running into all of the swords.
Oh.
Tinkerbell gathering swords is disgusting and ruined my evening. Um,
Oh,
but
sad.
it was like I want to see this deck do well, and I think getting it out a little bit faster might help it.
Yeah. Well, and that will help you against like the be prepared as well, right? Like they're not going to be
Hmm.
able to play that for quite a few turns. So this should give you a little bit of an advantage before they do that to you and decimate your entire board. So,
Yep, and you've probably or hopefully drawn a bunch of cards off Stitch in the meantime, quested a bunch, you end up coming
right.
out ahead on the exchange.
Yeah. Then you can just kind of flood your board again and finish up what you need to do and
Yeah,
hope that your opponent can't catch up. So,
yeah,
seems like a really great addition to that deck now that we talk about it more. Should be exciting to see what people do with it.
for sure.
Is that all of the cards? Did we get through
That
all of
is
them?
that is all of the new cards, but there is
Yeah.
some alternate art stuff coming out.
Yeah, so let's talk about this. So let me preface by saying that we are in the D100 celebration phase. Disney is celebrating 100 years of magic, and I forget, like, I think it's just a celebration of the whole company,
Yep,
which I guess technically
100 years of the
started with,
company existing. Started back
yeah,
in 1923 with the little animation studio, and then has
yep.
grown into the international empire that it is today.
So in the parks in Disneyland, and it'll be coming to Epcot here shortly. We've been seeing a lot of celebration, just embracing kind of the Disney as its whole. Everyone characters have been getting new outfits. There's been new celebrations, new food, of course. Read more about it on WDWNT.com. Obviously, we've been covering all of it there. But it's exciting to see that D100 is coming to Lorcana. I mean, how cute is that? So do you want to go ahead and talk about it and share the images that we've seen?
Yeah, so we've got a set of 6 cards that are all enchanted style. I'll say I don't know if they're
Hmm.
actually considered enchanted rarity or not. But they are printed in that promo set. If you look in the corner, it's like 18 out of P1. So this
Hmm.
is out of whatever P1 the promo set is. This is that we've got 18 through 23. I think that's the same numbering that the D23 promos had, starting back with Brave
Okay.
Little Taylor.
And
Don't
we
quote
see
me on
the
that, but I
Disney
think that's it.
100 logo
Yep,
on the bottom.
in the
So,
bottom where we've seen like the Gen Con logo and D23 logo before. So
yep.
who knows what rarity we actually want to call this, but it is
Yeah.
the new Mickey from set 2 that we just talked about. So all of these are reprints of cards that we've already talked about or have already seen in set 1. I think it's 2 cards from
Yep.
set 1, 4 cards from set 2.
I believe that's accurate. Yep.
But they've all got
And
this kind of a
then,
hand drawn style to them, with the artist's signature included on the card.
yep. And all of the artists aren't the ones who have done like the typical card that you're seeing in the set. These are like classic Disney artists who have taken their time to do this and then signed the card, which is
Ooh.
really cool. And I mean, obviously some of them are like newer artists as well, but I believe that this one, like, there are people who are going back to like old school days. So it's really exciting to see like
Mm-hmm.
some really old classic Disney artists come out and do some art for this and kind of just celebrate. I mean, that's what the celebration of this Disney 100 is about. It's about celebrating, the art over the past 100 years.
Yeah.
So this was such a great avenue for them to explore with that theme, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And just to see all of these different cards are really cute, and I want all of them. So
I
they've got the
really
Elsa with
love
the
the
gloves
style
off.
on Elsa. Like, I know
This
we were
is
whining about
very
Elsa earlier, but this is just such a,
yeah.
like, I'm trying to think of what to call this. Like,
This
the,
reminds me of Alice Davis. I'm not gonna
yes,
lie.
thank you.
It's
Yes.
very small world, very Alice Davis.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Yeah. I don't know what they were going for, but that's the art style that I see when I look at it. So.
It's it's really nicely done. We've also
Mhm.
got a genie,
Genie.
which classic.
He's fun. Really fun. Very Aladdin-esque, I would say.
Yes, yes. This looks very much like it was ripped out the movie almost.
Mhm.
We've
Yeah,
got
it's great.
we've got a Stitch coming,
Look at him. So I
which
know our resident staffer Jake Woods will be all about this card, but I love how cartoony he is. The
yes,
really bold ink lines, like oh man, he's great
he just looks so
in
happy.
his
I
little
love it.
spacesuit. He does. Who doesn't love a happy Stitch? And I love like how even like where it says 6 ink for the cost is kind of like sketchy.
Yeah,
So
it is,
love
isn't
that.
it? I hadn't noticed that till you pointed
Mhm.
it out.
Yeah, they've just kind of redone everything very minimally to just kind of fit the theme a little bit more. Love
Yeah.
that.
We've got a Maleficent as well, again in that same small worldish kind of a style,
Yeah. Yep.
which again can't get enough of it, honestly.
No. As
I just
Disney
wish it
Park
was on
fans,
a
we're all about
slightly.
this.
I wish it was on a slightly better Maleficent. One that might
Oh, you're
actually
not a
see a
fan
little
of
more
the
play.
you're not a
It's
fan of the uninvited.
it's okay. It's I see so much of the one cost Maleficent, and there's just so much of her in here.
Yeah. I'll give you
Then
that.
the Maui art also,
Maui.
that wonderful cartoony look to it.
Mm-hmm.
Feels almost like it's in the style of the tattoo art from like the brief
Yeah.
montage during You're Welcome,
Yeah. It's
with a bit
great.
more color
And
to
all
it,
of
I'll
his
say. But
yeah. All of his tattoos look great as well. So they've
yes,
really done him a justice here. And he's got the big old meaty arm and the meaty hands, so he's being represented well. He's lifting up the boat in the background. Like, this is Maui as we know and love him, just in a little bit of a different style.
yeah,
So the D100 edition set will include four booster packs for the expansion alongside exclusive goodies. In this case, the curated selection of alt art cards. So I mean, you get four booster packs,
feels
and
like the
then
gifts
all of
that
the
we've
alt
already
art
got,
cards.
just with different promos in it. I'll
Yeah,
argue better
and I'm
promos.
oh yeah, definitely better promos, special ones too. I mean, the 100th anniversary is literally only happening during 2023.
Yeah,
So, I mean, you're not going to get these. I mean, they'll probably still be in circulation next year, but like this is a very special anniversary. So I will be definitely getting a set of these, and they're at least accessible to get. I would hope. I
yeah.
assume the gift set
Again,
is
it's
going
going
to
to
be
depend a lot on
hopefully.
how launch goes, but hopefully it's a little
Yeah,
bit easier.
yeah. Gift sets, I think, even for set one, have been relatively easy to get your hands on. A lot easier than like a booster pack or something.
Yeah,
So
or a trove or anything for sure.
yeah. So really excited. I don't think there was a price available for it yet, so we'll have to kind of keep watch on that. I can imagine it'll probably be a little bit more, just because those are special cards.
Yeah, and you're
But
getting six of them instead of two, so that's fair.
right, yep. But I need those cards. They're really great.
Yeah,
I'm
they're
just
nice.
also all about the 100th celebration, so I'm just like, give me everything. I'm a merchandise nerd. I need all of
No,
it.
that's fair. I get it.
Yep.
I'm not sure myself. Honestly, I think it's going to depend a little bit on how much that Mickey Mouse friendly face actually gets play. Um, I'm
Okay.
I'm not a huge fan of buying promos that aren't usable. Like
Okay.
I like all the art here. I think it's great.
Hmm.
But I'm much more a collector of like functional game pieces. If there's a card that I know I'm gonna play and you make a really good alternate art version of it, I will go get it. But I will go
Okay.
get it when I know I'm gonna need it.
Okay.
I don't. It again. It kind of depends on the release price for this. If it ends up being like the same as a gift set today, I might just get some because I think that value is too good to pass up on.
Right.
But it's a toss up for me at this point.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll just have to wait. I'm sure more information will be available as we get closer to the set release.
Of
Again,
course.
that's November 17th.
Hmm.
So we'll just have to wait and see, I mean, that's, 2 months
Two
away
months
at
out.
this
Yeah.
point. So, yeah, we've got plenty of time for more information to come out and for more cards to get released for set two. So I think I'm excited for set two. I think everything we've seen so far looks good. I think they're all great additions to kind of the basics that we have in set one.
Hmm.
And I'm just excited to see the rest of them. What do you think?
I'm thrilled. I hope that they add maybe one more new mechanic that we just haven't seen yet.
Okay.
I the trend in Magic was 2 new mechanics a set. Sometimes more, sometimes less, but usually 2 on average. And I know the game just came out, so if we want to move slower for the first couple sets, I'm not going to sit here and complain. I am not going to make fun of you if you only put out the 1 new mechanic and we stay like that for a little while. As long as the game still feels fresh, I have no issues.
Right.
But I suspect we're going to see another one.
Yeah, and I'm sure, obviously we're gonna see more by the time that rules document comes out, because clearly
Also,
that's what
yes.
they're waiting on. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I agree. I'm okay with taking it a little bit slower. I've been seeing a lot of families be getting into this game, which includes younger children. So I think taking a slower approach might be more accessible for them versus
Yes.
people like you and me who have been playing games for a really long time.
Yep.
So if they want to take that slower approach, I totally understand it. Make the game inclusive because
Yes.
it is Disney at the end of the day, and it should be inclusive. That's kind of the whole branding thing.
Yep.
It's family friendly, so yeah, we can
I
stick with that. I'm okay with it.
I definitely want them to do that. I don't want it to get to the point where it's like that inclusivity is coming at the cost of alienating more competitive players, because
That's fair.
competitive players will buy more,
Yes.
so it sells a little better. But also, B, like, you as best you can, you want to try and cater to everybody that you can, and I don't think it has to be an either or at the end of the day.
Okay.
Again, for the first few sets, if you want to go slow, because like for the first set you dropped like, I don't know, 20 30, however many, the whole new game on us. You dropped an entire
Yes.
game. I'm not going to
Yeah.
complain
It's a
that you're only
lot to
putting
take
one
in at
mechanic
once.
out in set 2.
Yeah. Yeah, we're still getting our feet wet, especially with the card shortage. People are still trying to just
Yes.
play the game. There might be people out there who have, decks that are primarily set 2 cards versus set 1 at the end of the day because of accessibility. So
Yeah.
it'll be really interesting to see what competitive play looks like at the end of set 2 and
That's
what our
going to be
meta
neat to
is.
see.
Because, yeah. I'm
That
excited
and
to
the
see
slow
kind of what end of the
evolution
year.
is what I want to
Yeah.
watch. Like, as people start getting some 2 cards, but they've got their ones from before, like, when do we cross the threshold from I'm going to modify my old deck with some new stuff to here's a brand new deck with the 2 stuff
Yeah.
that no one's done anything
Yeah.
with yet.
hmm I know I've been hanging on to my deck by I'm not changing it. I love my Ruby Emerald so much, but at one point in time, I'm gonna have to move to something new. So yeah, it'll be fun to see that evolution. Um, but I think now that we've kind of gone through everything,
Yep.
we should start our little our wrap up here. And like we did at the end of the last video, we both have picked a card that we want to share and talk about. Why we think, or one of our favorite cards, I should say, and why we want to highlight it. So Ben, do you want to start with your card?
Yes.
What have you picked for us this month?
So this time I have picked Mickey Mouse Detective, which I've picked a common. What's wrong with me? This So part of this, I'm sure, is going to be that it's in the Sapphire Steel starter deck, and is kind of a very critical, useful piece of that starter deck. But effects like this, where you get a body and also a very strong effect, getting ramp here, getting extra ink early, that's such a fun thing to have going on. I was not expecting, honestly. I don't know why I wasn't, but I was not expecting ramp effects in this game, like permanent ramp from day one.
Yeah.
And Mickey Mouse is just emblematic of that.
Yes.
There's also the art, which I love this Inspector Gadget hat he's got going on here. Like, that's
Yes.
phenomenal. I,
If people, so I'll wait to plug our Instagram at the end of the show. But if people follow it, then they'll see that this was our very first Flavor Friday because I love wherever the seaweed had come from. Mickey was sure of one thing: something fishy was going on. And like, I love everything about this card. It's so great. The ability is great. It's cute. It's kind of everything that Lorcana is about, you know.
yes.
So yeah,
What about you?
really great
What did
pick.
you bring to the
Really.
party?
So I brought Cusco. Like I said, I've been playing Emerald Ruby, and Cusco is like one of the main man in my deck. So he's 2/4, 5 cost, non-inkable. He's got Ward. He quests for 3 lore, and his ability is No Touchy, which of course because it's Cusco. When this character is challenged and banished, you may banish the challenging character. Emerald is really great about doing bounce back, whether it's cards back to your hand, characters back to your hand, or banishing characters straight out.
Yeah.
And this is just kind of another really core piece to that. And I couldn't imagine my deck without it. And also, like, Emperor's New Groove is one of my favorite movies ever. I think I could quote that thing like on my own. And so to see like, like Cusco from like the beginning of the movie when it's like no touchy, like love it. It's great. I want more Cusco and I need like all of the characters actually, more than just Cusco and Yzma and Kronk. Like give me everyone. Give me Yzma as a cat. I'll take it. Um, but no, I think this is a really, really great card and very integral to my deck. And as I've been playing, I've been realizing like how important this is.
Yeah.
And I think people have kind of been sleeping on him, so I wanted to share him with the world. So
There's also something I noticed. It's got the subtype King, which is
yeah,
not commonly seen. I think that there's like
no,
the Lion Kings have it, I think, and that's it.
okay.
Like there's not a lot of that.
We could get more king cards.
Yeah,
I'm
I've
fine with that.
I've been getting a little more attentive to type lines because there's a fan
Sure.
conspiracy theory. Go get your tinfoil. There
Ooh,
there is a card that there is exactly one Tigger that was printed in the first
yes.
set.
And he's a Tigger.
He has the type line Tigger. We made
So
Tigger
good.
a card type.
Because
Why
Tiggers
would
are the
we?
most wonderful thing.
They are, but the other thing about Tiggers is that they're the only one.
Mm-hmm.
There's a hunch that there's going to be some sort of banish all characters that aren't Tigger.
Could you imagine? I would love that.
Making
Like, I'm
him the
here for
only
it.
one. Mm-hmm.
He is the only one. He's bouncy and flouncy and fun. Yes. Give me, I'll take him. Because he's what? He's evasive too, so he's like a good
I believe
card.
so, yeah.
So, yeah, bring it on. I'm here for this tinfoil hat. Give me it. I'll play. He's in my Ruby deck. I'll be fine. I love that though. Um, Also, so as we're reaching the end of the show, I do want to bring attention to the fact that we had a Lorcana event at our studio in
Yes, we
Florida.
did.
So if you're watching that and you attended that event, thank you from the bottom of our hearts that you were there and that you attended. Ben and I obviously couldn't be there, but it sounds like it went really well, and I think we're going to continue doing more in the future. In which case, we will be there for those. We'll make a point to show up and support the rest of our fellow employees and spend time with the community. So
Right.
thank you so much if you attended. If not, check out social and kind of follow along for when we do the next one, because there will definitely be more.
For sure.
And then, yeah, along that lines, we are now on Instagram. If you look up in the corner, we have the Illuminary Library.
Hey, I got the direction right.
Yeah, yeah, perfect. I post a lot of like really cute Flavor Friday things. We have so many photos of like the cards in the parks, of the characters interacting with the cards, us opening packs, spending time at tournaments, playing the game in general. So come hang out. It's a really fun time. And then of course any questions that you have about the game, be sure to leave them below. Like and subscribe and all of that stuff. It really truly does help the engagement.
Yeah.
Our learn to play video has like exploded, and we've gotten a lot of really good like follows and like questions and comments from it. So like thank you guys for that. We appreciate you. Anything
Send that to folks that
as
are
I
trying
just
to learn the game.
ramble?
Just pass it along.
Yeah, yeah. But like we love that we get to be here and talk about this game because we do love it a lot, and we just are so happy that you guys out there also enjoy listening to us talk about it. Because then we don't just sit here and talk to ourselves with just in front of a mic. It gives us an audience to talk to, so thank you.
Yes,
Thank you
thank
for
you all for
listening, of
making this
course.
possible. It's great.
Yes. I know when we first came up with the idea, Tom, our boss, was like, I'm not sure. And it's been really exciting to be like, no, we can make this
Look,
work.
it's real. It's happening. The people are here.
Yeah, exactly. And if you want to watch a slightly obsessed Disney man open like a booster box, go watch Tom's booster box opening video. It's like 2 hours long, but he got some pretty good stuff. He got like the legendary Rapunzel, the Tangled card or whatever. Like,
Ooh,
that's a pretty great pull. So
nice.
yeah, no enchanted, but he got that card, which is one that I still don't have. So I was jealous. Yeah. But
Yeah, thank you all for
thank you guys
joining
so
us, and
yes.
look forward to chatting with y'all on Instagram and in the comments. And also, hit us up on Twitter/X, whatever you want to call it. Tags are below us right here.
Yes.
Happy to chat with folks.
And yes. Thank you guys so much, and we will see you next month.
Yep.
Bye.
See ya.